Baldy was wrong when he said race swapping only happens in one direction. And this is how Netflix portrays a 13-year-old murderer in the UK. The second image is the person it was based on. So, yeah, the show's not a documentary. I read about this a bit. It's complete fiction, crime drama, but the creator was inspired by both rising knife crime and the rise of Tate-esque manosphere. So I'll actually watch the clip of this, and I saw a couple of things about this here. I think it's very obvious that what they're doing. It is. It's very obvious. And I think that the problem is whenever you do something like this, everybody can see the reason why you're doing this, right? It's a bad example. Yes. Netflix adapts the story of a girl murdered by a black teenager in the UK, casts a white teen as a murderer. The movie focuses on the white male rage and toxic masculinity every single time. Is creators of Netflix adolescents that they show at the parliament and schools that causes discussion and wants to make things change on social media's toxic influence and misogynistic influence on teenage boys? I'm never going to take any of this shit seriously at all until they start holding other girls accountable for the toxic shit that they do. Men are not the exclusive purveyors of being toxic on the internet, right? This is not it. Now, obviously, the thing is that you're caricaturing this type of a person, and I do think that a lot of, like, young guys, yeah, correct, yeah, it's like, I don't want to hear about how, you know, men are toxic and this is some kind of terrible fucking thing that's happening. Why people feel like we need to extinct ourselves? Well, I don't think this is about being white, right? But yeah, in general, yeah, I'll take, but the others are bad. Well, yeah, I mean, like, the thing is that a lot of guys, so this is what happens, right? A lot of guys go on the internet and they find people like Andrew Tate or like any of these other bullshit internet dads. The reason why that happens is because they don't have real dads at home. And the reason why I think they don't have real dads at home is because any traditional sense of masculinity has been completely removed by society and been replaced with this bullshit. So it's really a second and third order effect of why this happens. Like, you hardly ever see people that come up and do this kind of stuff that had a man involved in their life growing up that was a positive influence. The majority of, like, boys and young boys that go and do this stuff and, like, get into, like, acting weird like this kid did, the majority of them were probably raised by single moms. They don't have any positive male influence in their life at all that's, like, a guiding force. It's like if you watch a monkey or a gorilla, you'll see the little gorillas fucking with the big gorillas, and then the big gorillas set the little gorillas straight, and then the little gorillas become big gorillas, and they do the same thing. That's the circle of life, right? And so if you don't have the big gorillas around to keep the little gorillas in check, then you have situations like this. So I actually do think it's the case, and I think that all of the different elements of any form of masculinity has been totally taken away from men as well. And I think that any form of aggression that men have, even like kind of a casual male aggression towards each other, like banter and stuff like that, has been demonized. I think that any type of, you know, coarse communication, like saying things in ways that are, you know, quote, not PC, has been totally neutered as well. And so you have a society that's totally removed all of the things that men, and especially young men, do and able to do when they're young in order to establish and build a sense of identity and camaraderie. And you don't have any of that. That's why you have a lot of people going to the internet and seeking out spaces like this. That's the exact reason. So when you look at why this happens, it actually is, it's not like a, oh, but the other side does it too. What I'm saying is that the constant demonization of men, masculinity, and any form of coarse or like basically problematic behavior that young men do, demonizing all behavior that young men do that's aggressive or coarse at all as being problematic and it needs to be stomped out, that's not going to make it go away. It's just going to make it go on the internet. And that's what's happened. You're overestimating? Really? I don't think I am. I don't. What do you guys think? Do you guys think I'm right about this? Because I think this has been a domino effect. There's been a lot of dominoes for this. He's underestimating? Yes. Do you think it's partly why more young men join the army? I think that the fact that, like, you look at the amount of people that are joining the army now, men join the army, there's a lot of reasons why they join the army, right? Some do it to pay for school, some do it because it's a family thing, some do it for any other reason. But, like, it's undeniable that after Trump and Pete Hegseth took over the fucking Department of Defense, military recruitment went way fucking up. You want to know why that is? It's because those guys represent that traditional, coarse, aggressive, and very politically incorrect view that a lot of young men are attracted to. And so if you want to put, like, take a guy that has tattoos from the fucking middle-age crusades there that works out every day, put him in charge of the military, and you're going to have a lot more people signing up to join. That's a fact, because that's what young men want. And the problem is that you have, like, any element and any version of that has been demonized by culture. And I think this has happened in the last 10 years. It's been demonized by Karens. Do you remember what I said before about how all problems in society are caused by Karens or incels? Well, this actually is a problem that's caused by Karens, and it creates incels. And so it's kind of both. So what I think happens with this, dude's a paladin, of course people follow him. Yeah, sure. And so the problem with something like this, I think, is that it doesn't really explain what the real reasons for these things are, because I think it goes against traditional narratives. I think men's lifestyle, environment, and food is lower testosterone across the board. Yeah, and so the reason why people... So this is the point, right? So all I'm doing is providing like a frame of reference to explain why I think this happens. But now you go to the second part, which is why the radicalization of young white boys into manosphere adjacent content. I think especially for white guys, it's especially bad, because in a lot of, like, I would say, like, Western culture, that's like the one group of people that it's generally acceptable to make fun of, right? It's generally acceptable to make fun of men, and it's generally acceptable to make fun of white people. You can't do that to anybody else in the same way. And I think that's really, like, I think everybody sees this. A lot of young guys, young white guys see this, and they're like, well, this is fucking ridiculous. Universal reality in your fascist head? Well, here's the problem, is that if enough people have that universal reality, then it becomes a universal reality, right? So you can say that everybody's stupid and, oh, they don't really think this and it's not true, but you're not going to convince people that that something isn't real when they're looking at it, right? And so anyway, reality's reality. Yes, exactly. And so anyway, this is something that has alienated, and it's radicalized a lot of young men. And the problem is that, and this is really the issue, is that the problem is that all of the investigation into why is this happening to young men is blamed on young men. At no point ever is it looked at as, like, why is this happening in a broader sense? Why is this happening beyond just this group of people? Because if you look at any other group of people that have problems in society, there's always a secondary group or a secondary causal factor, right? Women have problems in society, there's an issue with women, it's because of men. Minorities have problems, it's because of the dominant majority in whichever country it is, right? And so what you have is, you see every single other group is able to, like, you know, like, have a shared accountability for its missteps, but with this group, they're constantly blamed for everything that goes wrong. Feminists created Andrew Tate. They did. They absolutely did. And so that's the reason why people go after content like this. So making shows like this that just further demonize young men and boys and just turn them into, like, these emotional, unstable babies that can't control themselves, this, all it does is it just further radicalizes them, and it just makes everything worse. That's basically what I'm saying. And I think it's very accurate. I think that's exactly what's been happening too. I'm sorry, but some of the men need to get therapy. As a woman, I've been told that for decades. The way that men and women, I think, work through problems is fundamentally different. And I think that the acknowledgement, or sorry, the refusal to acknowledge that there are fundamental cognitive differences between the sexes is actually a foundational core problem. There's two elements of this. So there's, number one, there's the element that almost everything is reduced down to a one-size-fits-all for both men and women, which I don't think is accurate, because they're cognitively different. They think about things differently. They process things differently. Literally different chemicals in their brain and their body that make them make different decisions, like testosterone and estrogen, obviously. And then you have the second thing, is that in the case where it is a male viewpoint or a female viewpoint, oftentimes the female-centric perspective is the one that is the prevailing one in society. And so you have a situation where men cognitively are trained to, you know, basically blame everything on themselves, have everything blamed on them. Their coping mechanisms are deemed toxic. Their types of interacting with each other are deemed hostile and not politically correct. And basically, the solutions that are given to them are solutions that generally help more women more than men. That's the reason why. And so, like, this is a huge problem. Men allowed this. It's a self-inflicted wound. You're right. Men have allowed this. And that's why I think men need to stop. Men need to stop allowing themselves to be patronized by a bunch of Karens that hate them. It's so obnoxious. It's so absolutely insanely fucking obnoxious that these men get together. Like, I don't want to listen to some Karen tell me about, like, what words I'm supposed to use. Shut the fuck up. I understand this is kind of like more of a red pill point of view, but I think this is what's happening. A lot of people might view, like, what I'm saying as, like, misogynistic, but I actually think it's the opposite. I think that women have regularly put themselves in male spaces and then tried to make male spaces conform to them, changing the spaces and then complaining about it. It's annoying. It's very annoying to me. Yeah, it's so fucking annoying. Speak the truth, yes. And I think video games, like, as a video gamer, okay, like, this is exactly what's happened. Back in the day, everybody would say any word, anything under the sun, and nobody got upset, except for a few pussies. But now, there's like 50 different regulations on what you can and can't say. There's 1,000 different rules. And I think the big reason why is because you're inviting in all these people. Girls don't act like that to each other. Like, I don't see girls talking like that to each other the same way guys do. It's just not the same. And so, you go into a male space that's dominated by young men that are hyper-aggressive, extremely competitive, and then you want to take away every outlet they have to express that. Get the fuck out of here. Turn off voice chat. That's what I think. Turn off voice chat. Yeah, if you don't like it, turn off voice chat. Get out of here. That's where I'm at. That's it.